into your individual self enough to interact and provide the game of interaction. So, I definitely have I'm sorry to interrupt you. I hate to, it's basically like, it reminds me of, like, it gives me a lot of respect for what people consider crazy people, because like maybe they're not actually crazy, but they actually just see into higher realms of existence and consciousness than we give them credit for. And maybe when they're talking to someone, they're not just talking to themselves. Maybe they're talking to something that actually is there, but we have our filters on and we can't really see it. So we deem them crazy, but are they really, is the question.
Yeah. So why do you try to lucid dream?
I don't think I tried to so much as I just always did it. Like, I didn't even know there was a term for it until I started trying to find out what the recurring dreams I was having were about. And then I was able to see, like, oh, wait, there's a community about people that can control their dreams. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was called this. Oh, and I was learning, what it was called as I was reading about the forum, but I had been doing it since I was a child without even any foreknowledge. So I don't know. I mean, it was just something inherent. Like, I always knew how to control my dreams.
Okay. What are some reality checks that you do?
There's no telltale reality check. I never really set a pattern that is basically when I wake up from a first alarm and then I go back to sleep, normally I can continue the dream where I left off, and then I have the memory of waking up. And that's the reality check, is like, wait, I just woke up. Oh shit, this is a dream. And then all of a sudden I'm able to control everything in the dream, because it's like, it'd be like if I'm talking to you right now and all of a sudden I wake up in bed and then I come back to talking to you right now, and then it's just like, oh wait, this is not real. And then so I do what I call like a curtain pull, where I just put my hands from left to right, or right to left rather, and then I pull the entire scene into whatever I want it to be. It's kind of strange. So I stop whatever I was dreaming about, because most times it's just random and boring. So I make it into something more interesting.
Oh, that's really cool. Have you made a thread about the curtain method?
I mentioned it a long time ago, but yeah, I didn't talk about how I do that exactly. It's just something I did.
How's your recall?
I would say it's above average, because I don't really keep a dream journal. I just remember every detail at this point. I can recall something as well as watching that as a TV show than, the night before, or if you've seen Star Wars, you can tell me about Star Wars right now as if it really happened, but it's the same type of thing. Of course, there are some dreams that I'll randomly have come back to me. I'm like buying a soda, and all of a sudden I'll remember it, and it was almost just like something triggered it, but then I remember it forever after that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When you see dream characters, do you feel they have some sort of dignity to themselves, or do you think of them as mere objects or props or anything like that?
I think they're all manifestations of your subconscious in a certain sense. Like, your subconscious is trying to tell you something you need to change about yourself, or something that you're worried about. It's all, I'm really big into Carl Jung's idea about, like, the shadow self and the anima and all the archetypes of your mind being projected in your dreams. And I also like Jung's idea that, you can project you're like basically our waking state is also a projection of our thoughts on ourself. So, you know, our the wars and famines and poverty and all the problems we perceive in the world are not actually there as problems. It's our perceptions of ourselves that we push out as our shadow self so that we don't have to deal with that part of ourself. So if you see like somebody warring, or you hate some politician or hate this person in your life, it's not that you hate this entity, you're just hating an aspect of yourself that you're not ready to accept yet.
Huh. That's a really cool thought. Have you ever had any troubles with nightmares?
I mean, I always have this recurring nightmare that I can't really put into words, and there's all this like chanting and strange like uh, strange objects that I can't really explain what they are, but it's just always like this, here we go again, and it's like a recurring, it somehow scares me for some reason. And sometimes if I'm in a daze, or I'm in deep thought about something, and sometimes I'll hear that like kind of like not murmuring, it's not like I hear voices in my head or anything, but I will hear this like, you know, kind of like ringing in your ears type thing, but it'll recall the dreams that I've had of that, and I'll be like, yeah, that's what yeah, but I can't really ever explain it. It's really strange. But I remember like having a memory when I was a kid where I woke up and my mom was like, it's okay, it was just a bad dream. But I said, it was like, you know, if I can continue where I left off there, and I continue where I left off here, which one is real, and what, like, how do I know? How can I prove it? And, you know, I remember crying over the fact that I didn't know what was real. And it made my mom upset because she couldn't really prove it to me either. I have a very vivid memory of that, and it was with that dream, because it always happens again. So.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be kind of weird, having your kid ask you how to, like, prove how something is real and how something isn't. There's not really much you can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically where you vest your belief, you know, like belief even in itself, you know, a word, it's just a word, believing in something, believing in an idea. You know, I'm fully, not a firm believer, but I mean, if you truly strip away everything, you know, you realize that, you know, words point back at themselves, at the person speaking them, and basically your belief in reality is, you know, your belief in the moment, and how willing you are to accept certain aspects of the moment. But you know, I just look at the integral moment right now, and I accept that as true. But I think all interactions and all layers beyond that are just ways to keep ourselves busy, but it's technically, we are the same thing interacting with itself, is what I've concluded.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Another question. Do you recommend a dream journal?
For people starting out, most definitely, because like with anything, like you're studying, you have to create a mindfulness of it. You need to create an awareness in your mind to keep you thinking about it. I always just thought about it when I was younger, you know, as kind of my own personal hobby. I didn't really talk about it or write it down or anything. I just always thought about it in general. So it's not necessary per se, but I would say, you know, if the person is not actively thinking about it or has a busy lifestyle, that, you know, keeping that journal would be a way to keep their attention on it to get better results, I would say.